Hey, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a good week. Still rocking this side part here as you can see. I think I like it. I might keep it for a bit and see how it goes. Anyway, I wanted to hop on here today and do a video all about the brows. You can see I have recently shaped mine up a little bit more and plucked more of my strays. I'm really bad about upkeep, though I do like when they're looking nice. You can see I kind of have some weird shape and like odd sparse places on mine, so I'm going to be talking about kind of how to shape them. If you have never done your brows before and are new kind of to it, I do suggest you can get stencils. I'll post a link below to a couple different places that have them. So I know we have them with Unique. For those of you who don't know, I am a Unique prisoner. But I know that we have them, but you can find them other places as well. Probably like drugstores and stuff. So those are always good. If you don't want to get stencils, the way that I kind of did it when I started out was I actually just took an eyeliner I had, and it looked kind of scary because I think it was black because I don't think I had brown, and kind of traced how I wanted them to look and kind of fidgeted with it a little bit, and then ended up just like plucking everywhere outside of what I had lined on. So that's kind of how I started doing it. But a good rule to go by if you're not sure if you want to do like the arched brow, a good place to start is kind of like the golden rules, if there are really rules to doing your eyebrows. Again, that I was kind of taught when I started is, this is just a makeup brush, my brow brush, but goes straight up from your nose and kind of gives the idea of where your brow should start. If you have any strays that grow in the middle, I know I do sometimes. And then from your nose to the outside of your eye and up is kind of where your brows should end. And then for where the arch is, kind of where your like natural arch typically should be, is if you go again from your nose, and this time go, you can go through the center depending on like how far out you want your arches. You can either go through the center of your eye, or I go between the pupil, like where the pupil and the iris meet there. That's kind of where I judge it from. So, where the black and the colored part meet of your eye. That's where the highest part of my arch is where I usually aim for it to be. But nowadays, like, the thicker, fuller eyebrows are really in too. So, if you don't want to have like an arch or like the thinner on the outside, you can fill this in. You can do straight eyebrows. You can do whatever you like. But said, I just like, for my face shape, I like having the arch brows, and that's kind of how my natural brows tend to go anyway. I just get like stragglers that like to grow in the middle and look kind of awkward. But yeah, so that's kind of an idea for the basic shape, if you're not familiar with actually shaping your eyebrows. And then my other main focus of the video today is actually like filling them in. And you can get nice little brow palettes. I have one here called the Brow Obsession palette that I really like. We just came out with this a few months ago. Before that, like, if you don't have an actual like brow palette, something else that I've done in the past, like, you can get eyebrow pencils. Of course they make those. But something that I've done that I found is easier to, like, if you don't have the brow palette, to get different colors and shades depending on your hair. Because, there's 50 different shades of brown, and, from light brown to dark, anywhere in between, all the way to black. But, I actually, when I started, I used eyeshadow, because this is just like our neutral palettes, palette 1. but any neutral palette would work. I used Chipper for my lighter color and Forthright for my darker, and just kind of blended them in my brows. So, you know, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. But my favorite way now that we have it is to use the brow palette. And they are nice and numbered. These up here are powders for, you know, actually filling your brows. They have these that are more like creamy for your highlights and such. I have tried the pink a couple times, but with my skin tone being so pinky anyway, I usually kind of avoid shades like that. Though I do really like this one. I don't know if you can see it. But it has a little like shimmer to it. And then 5 over here is actually a brow wax. That'll help kind of keep them in place if you have any strays, because I have like right here that likes to stick up straight. So that'll help keep them where you want them to be. So, and I do have a brow artist brush here. If you don't have one of these, it just has an angled end here, and it also has a flat end, which is the end that I like to use for the wax. If you don't have one of these, any like angled liner brush will do. So I am going to start with the lighter shade here. And I'm going to kind of start outlining the inner part of my brow. That way I can kind of see where I'm going to need to fill. And then start going up my arch here. Okay, I'm going to do the same. Go ahead and just do the same for the other side. That way you can kind of see. And like, this may look fairly easy for me now, but like, it has taken so much practice, and I still goof up. But that's one thing I like about using powders. If you mess up, they're really easy to just wipe off and start over. If you do like, I know there are pencils and there are like liquid pencils and stuff you can use that are a bit more permanent. See, I have these goofy. The wax will help with that when we get there. But I know like there are more like the liquids and stuff that will, you know, stay put better. But honestly, as long as you're not like sitting there rubbing your eyebrow, this isn't going to go anywhere. Sorry, I do have a little dryness right now. Changing seasons. I tend to get weird dry spots. I get like my eyebrows get dry and like my eyelids will get dry sometimes. Okay, I'm still using that light color. I'm just going back and starting to fill in a bit. Because where I do have like, you know, a little bit of sparseness, can help it all blend in there. And another good tip when you're doing this is use like short strokes. Don't make a whole bunch of like long lines through your eyebrow, because eyebrow hairs aren't that long. So if you use short strokes, it will help it to look a little more natural. There we go. You can already see the difference there. I'll go ahead and do my other side here. And this is kind of my sparser side, like on the inside, so takes a little bit more normally. You can kind of see them start to take a little better shape now. It's that I do have brows like to begin with. It's more like filling for me. But if you have more sparse brows, like you don't have much to begin with, At least like the shaping I was kind of talking about at the beginning should help a little bit. And just creating kind of your own shape. And honestly, like, I'll say I don't do my brows like every single day. A lot of times for work, because of the type of work I do from, you know, my 9 to 5 stuff, I don't always wear a lot of makeup. Like, I'll put some eyeliner and mascara on, but I don't always do my eyebrows. So I'm like lucky that I don't have to fill them extremely. But at the same time, like people with sparser brows, it's easier. It can be easier for you to do more fun things with your brows because you have a little more freedom in creating different shapes rather than kind of working around what you already have, you know. Okay, so I filled in my inner parts, so now these look nice and full, and I have like barely anything out there. So now that that's done, I'm actually going to use my darker shade here and take that from my arch and pull it out. And coming back to my arch again here. Okay, again, I do short strokes because your eyebrows tend to naturally start lighter in the middle and get darker towards the outside, so that's what we're creating the illusion of. There you go. So now I actually have outsides of my eyebrows too. Amazing. I know I did skip step 4 for now, but like this is the basic shaping. And then like I said, if you have a palette, they'll usually come with a highlight. And if you're wanting to do highlights, I'm going to do further makeup like after this, so I'll probably just use other eyeshadow. But basically, if you're going to use a highlight, I don't want to use that brush to show you because I will end up with dark lines all over. But if you're going to use a highlight, a good thing to do, of course, is highlight under your brow here. And something else, if you want to define them even more, you can also do, excuse me, you can also do above your eyebrows, like here. And that'll just give them a little bit more definition and kind of clean up your edge work. So I said I'm going to use some other eye makeup after this. So I'll just use eyeshadow, which you can also do, like I said, again, if you don't have a palette or if you would just rather use different colors, you can do that as well. So now I am just going to go ahead and go to the number 5 here, which is our wax. Dip into that a little bit. And I just kind of brush that in here. Okay, and so this will kind of help your brows behave a little more. Keep them where you want them to actually stay. Okay, up and then down like that. All right. So that's basically it. That's kind of like brow basics. Brow 101, if you will. Just some tips and tricks, a little bit of a how-to there. Like I said, I like to keep mine fairly full in the middle and then do my arch and narrow them out towards the tip there. But you can do so many different things with your eyebrows. So you can do, if you want thicker eyebrows, you could just fill in like the arch here. Just have like more straight brows. I know that's kind of a trend right now with some celebrities and stuff too. Or, you know, you can do shorter brows if you don't want them to go out that far. Or I think now actually there's some crazy like wiggly brows too. So play around with them. You know, if you're not sure what you like, try different things out. It's, you know, it never hurts to try. They are eyebrows. If you pluck too much, you can, you know, use liner to fill them back in until it grows back, because it will eventually grow back. I honestly wish mine didn't grow back as fast as it did, because I have to pluck my eyebrows multiple times a week to actually keep up with them, which is why I have trouble keeping up with them. But yeah, so thanks for joining me for this little brow video. I hope you guys have a great week.